Streets 105.1, Dsmoovee, voice of the streets on your airways right now. Thank you so much for tapping in, tuning in. Of course, as promised, look, I've been hyping this up ever since I met these guys and ever since I got a chance to talk to the whole festival about what's going on, of course, in the greatest park ever in St. Louis, in the world, Forest Park. But look, I got to bring these two guys up to the mic. Thank you so much for tapping in and tuning in. Of course, I have Joe and Jeff of Evolution Fest in the building. How you guys doing today?
Very good. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. How are you feeling, man? Look, you guys look incredible. You guys are doing something so incredible for the city. I just want to thank you so much for what you're doing, first and foremost.
You look good.
Yeah, you guys definitely.
That's important.
Yeah, you got to look good because when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, they pay good.
That's right.
There you go. Joe and Jeff, let's start out here. What gave you guys the idea for Evolution Fest?
I'm going to let Joe take that one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a small group of us, Jeff, myself, and our partner, Steve Schankman, and we all spent a lot of time promoting shows and being around live entertainment in St. Louis and realized that there was a void here. St. Louis had a great festival for several years, and it unfortunately went away, and we feel like there's been a void in the marketplace. So we figured, we live here, we raise our families here. Why wait for some out-of-towners to come into town and do a festival here? Let's create something ourselves that's going to really speak to the community. So it's by St. Louisans for St. Louisans.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'll also just add, it's a lot of fun to do this. While it's a lot of work and there's heavy lifting and there's pressure, we do enjoy these kinds of things. Like, I love programming a festival. Joe likes having a vision for it. Steve, our partner, isn't here. He's given a lot to St. Louis for the past 58 years or however long Contemporary's been in business.
Yeah.
So, it's giving back to the city, but it's also like, at some point we have to do things that are fun in our careers, and this is one that we really feel passionate about.
I love the fact that you guys are both talking about St. Louis in such a way that it inspires you to do something more and expand into the entertainment realm. Both of you guys, I'm pretty sure, have your both pathways with entertainment, but what brought you both together?
Well, Jeff and I have known each other for quite a while. I've spent majority of my career, I've done some things in St. Louis earlier in my career. The first 10 years of my career, I did a lot in St. Louis. And then the next 20 years of my career, I really was focused on more out-of-town things. But we've always known each other. We've always liked each other. And the one thing we do have in common is Steve Schankman, our partner, because Jeff's been with Steve now at Contemporary Productions for nearly 20 years.
19 years.
And yeah. Steve was actually my first boss in the business. My first job right out of college was for the old Contemporary Productions. So we've always known each other and liked each other. And when we all kind of sat down, I had started my own company 2 years ago. I left the big companies because I wanted to be home more with my family and focus on passion projects. And so when I first sat down and had lunch with Jeff and Steve, it's like the first topic that came up is like, is it time?
Yeah.
Is it time for this? So
yeah, we all have our strengths. Joe's great at visualizing and creating festivals. Talent and programming is my specialty, and the business side and the finance side of things is what Steve really has a great background in keeping a business afloat. So we had all of the tools to put this thing together for St. Louis and for music fans in the region. Really,
I love the fact that it's thought about, and like you said, Joe, it's time. A lot of people don't understand, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a documentary written about what you guys have done in St. Louis. I'm waiting for it. I'm coining
Hopefully it's a flattering one.
I know it's definitely going to be there. But to say it's time, were you guys planning for this, or did you guys ever have this goal to create Evolution Fest in mind, or was it something that you guys just was like, hey, like St. Louis needs this?
Well, I'll speak for me. I've done a lot of festivals over my career. I was never really focused on doing one in St. Louis. I can't really explain why. It was never really a focus of mine because I just wasn't sure how the market would react to a festival. And then Lou Fest came about, and Jeff was, which he could talk about, was involved with Lou Fest in the early years before they started having problems. And I think they sort of proved to me, even though I was on the outside looking in, that okay, this city can really be viable for a festival. So I think that partially convinced me. And I just, after doing so many of them throughout my career, it came time where when we saw this opportunity, we said, like, why not us and why not now?
Absolutely.
I'm one of the few people in the entertainment business that still goes to shows when I'm not working. So I really enjoy it. I've been out at 3 shows this week. You know,
I can't keep up with them.
Not for work, because I want to, I want to learn about what's out there, and I still just like going to a gig, right? So when this kind of came together, why not do it in the city that you live in?
Absolutely.
Where we raise our kids and that we call home. I want to make it a better place. I mean, I've never been so excited about St. Louis, and in fact, 10 years ago, I was down on it, to be honest. But with what's going on in the city in food and in restaurants and in developments, a festival is what's needed to keep people here. So,
absolutely.
So, I could travel to other festivals, I could spend money, I could use my connections to get free tickets, but why not create something that we own? And that was a big part of it.
And look, we did our research ahead of time. When you look at markets of similar size and stature across the Midwest, this was the only one that didn't have a major festival to call its own in its backyard. So we said, this is ridiculous. This is St. Louis, Missouri. We got a lot to be proud of.
Absolutely.
Let's do this, and let's showcase the city from a different perspective through a festival lens. Why not? I mean, somebody was probably going to come in and do it if we didn't.
Absolutely.
But we said, you know what? This should be us, because we're not just, jumping on a plane and coming in and producing a festival and then getting out.
Yeah, exactly. You guys
we
are
live
here. Exactly.
Our kids go to school here. So I think that's a big part of it for us.
That's the most incredible part, because as you said, Jeff, it's so many things that are uplifting in St. Louis right now, from food to entertainment to the music scene to everything that's going on right now, that St. Louis needs something this big, of this magnitude, to keep its elevated, to keep the elevation going. And the fact that both of you two have said, like, this is going to be it, and we're going to do it in our hometown, is really important. Sometimes we find like a lot of acts, they have to leave St. Louis to become, or to find national exposure. But I believe that what you guys are doing here, it allows the city to become one with the national exposure and one with the nation. So just credit to you guys on that, and just want to thank you so much, because that's a heavy goal. I mean, that's a heavy burden to keep, and the fact that you're doing it in such a professional way is amazing. So you guys, like, I if I had 20 hands, it wouldn't be enough to applaud you for what you guys are doing. So thank you so much.
No, listen, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you, because we can't do this without you. We need everybody's help to create this elevated experience that we're looking to create at this festival. And it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of time to develop something, develop a festival and have it be successful and have it become sort of interwoven within the community. We don't take that for granted. We still got a lot of work to do in terms of making this be something that the city of St. Louis, and when I say the city of St. Louis, I mean the St. Louis metro area, can be proud of. And people mark it on their calendars every year. Last weekend of August, that's evolution time.
Exactly.
We can't go out of town that weekend.
Yeah.
That's evolution. So, but that takes time. That doesn't all happen right away. So we're just working really hard now to talk to people as much as we can about what we're creating, what the vision is, and how amazing it's going to be for the people to come out and experience it. And as we like to say, there's only one time that you can experience something for the first time. My hope is that we're sitting here having this interview, same type of interview 25 years from now. Maybe Jeff will still be around. I don't know if I will, but there's only one time to experience it for the first time.
Yes.
To be able to say, I've been to every evolution, including the very first evolution. And that's
incredible.
We're trying to really push that to make people understand, like, this is a special moment.
Absolutely.
It's only the first time once. So... Oh, come on! That wasn't that deep of a thought.
No, that was. Joe, I can't lie to you.
I think my lovely wife Lisa told me that.
Thank you so much, Lisa. First and foremost.
Oh, James Boatwright.
Oh yeah, we can't copyright infringement. We got to make sure we get the right people credit.
Have you met James?
I have not.
He's local. He's a pit master, a barbecue phenom that's here in St. Louis. He's been on Netflix and the Food Network. He's really, really amazing.
I'm gonna have to talk to you about that off air, Joe. I need to get him up here. We need to focus on all St. Louis talent. So, speaking of barbecue, that's one of the statements that you guys are making in Evolution Fest, and I want to talk to you about that real quickly.
You want to talk about it?
You go ahead. Yeah.
I don't want to dominate the conversation.
He's pitching to you, and you are knocking the home runs out.
Yeah. So basically, sort of the concept for Evolution Festival is, again, we wanted to create sort of a more intimate boutique, elevated experience for the fans, and our three pillars of the festival are, of course, music. We've got a great lineup, and the other two pillars are bourbon and barbecue.
Yes.
And the way festivals have evolved over the last 15 to 20 years, it can't just be about the music anymore. It's got to be about these other things too to have a successful festival. So we picked bourbon and barbecue. Bourbon because there are some smaller bourbon events that happen in St. Louis, but nothing major.
Yeah.
And bourbon as a spirit has exploded across the United States. It's the second most popular spirit now behind vodka, where it used to be maybe 8th or 9th. So bourbon has seen this explosion in the U.S. over the last maybe 10 years.
Okay.
So we wanted to capitalize on that. And of course, when we're thinking food, it was immediate.
Yeah.
It was two choices. Do we focus on Italian food, or do we focus
on barbecue?
Like,
yeah.
Okay, Italian food in Forest Park in the middle of summer, maybe not the greatest fit, but barbecue is perfect.
Of course, it's a summertime classic. How could you not? And like you said, being able to focus on all these sectors of St. Louis and really putting that focus on entertainment and music and barbecue and also community, because a festival draws in so many people, and it has people come from all over the world just to see these acts that you're bringing in, and really it's an influx of people that are going to be coming into St. Louis to see, to invest and to do things here that normally we wouldn't have a chance to do. What does that mean that you guys are putting the, and I want you to answer this one. What does it mean that you guys are creating an influx of people here?
Well, I mean, like I had said earlier, I travel to go to shows. I like destinations, and I like, things to do and making plans. I think we're offering something where people can look at this from outside the region and say, this is a great idea. We should come see all these bands. To me, as we talked about bourbon and barbecue, I probably won't have bourbon and barbecue the whole festival. There's something for everybody. There's tacos, there's vegetarian food, there's, every drink you have possible. Those are two pillars we've hung our hat on, but everybody should know that you can come experience everything, as you would any other festival, around. So I just love making plans. Like, if you're like us, we look for things to do on the weekend. Some of us have kids, some of us don't. Some of us are single, going to find a date. Whatever it is, it's like,
that's not you, though.
No, that's not me.
That's not me.
That's right. It's not you too.
But festivals are great gathering places. So with music, bourbon, and barbecue, we feel like we have three pillars that everybody can find something in this festival to love. I think music's the number one seller, but
Very
really,
true.
I think the food and beverage experiences around music festivals are making the good ones great. And the
Absolutely.
ones that, create retention and are able to grow, we're seeing other things and other experiences throughout the footprint other than the 2, 3, 4 stages that you see with music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, obviously we want this festival to speak to St. Louis. We want this to be something that St. Louisans can be proud of and stand behind and say, this is our festival. This is our evolution is kind of part of what our tagline is. But it's also important that we do focus some of our attention on outside of St. Louis, because part of what we're trying to do here is work closely with some of our key partners like Greater St. Louis Inc. and Explore St. Louis to try to bring people to town, because we all know this because we experience it every day. I mean, I've grown up with it. I'm born and raised here, so I know all about the zoo and the art museum and the history museum and the science center and all these great
incredible things
to do around. I take it kind of for granted. I admit it.
Same here.
But in this instance, it's very important that we promote those things, because it's a great opportunity on a summer weekend to get people from out of town, whether it's 100 miles outside of town or 300 miles outside of town or 500 miles outside of town, come to St. Louis, spend a weekend, have a good time going to a multi-day music festival, but also come experience some of the other great things that this city has to offer.
Absolutely.
Especially just right there in Forest Park.
In the greatest park in the world. And I want to ask you guys that, what made you guys say Forest Park is our destination? This is where we want to plant our flag at.
I think we knew it had to be in the city. You know,
Yeah.
we looked at a lot of different locations. You know, I'm not going to name all of them, but it just felt right being in the city.
You don't want to name the ones that didn't make the cut?
You're choosing second through fifth place, right? But it just felt right being in the city. You know, as you said, the greatest park in the world, or whatever when you gave your intro, it's the crown jewel of St. Louis.
Absolutely.
It just feels right to be there as you know, Greater St. Louis and some of our partners trying to recruit people here, getting companies to stay here, people to move here. It's time to celebrate the best things that we have and show everyone else, you know, in the region or people from out of town that should come in and celebrate this. I also think St. Louis has a stigma for kind of doing the same thing over and over again, celebrating the same things, not moving the needle. You know, talent was is my department here for the festival. I want to move the needle. I want to bring acts here that haven't been here for a long time, introduce festival goers to new acts. You know, the 3 o'clock bands are just as important as the headliners to me, because I really think a well-rounded bill that has different genres of music, things for everyone. I want people to look at the lineup and say, wow, our city's got that coming, like I do, you know, in Nashville and other places that have amazing festivals. I think we have the tools to do that here.
I love it. I love the fact that you guys have put so much thought into this. And credit to you, Joe, because now I know you're part of the talent. So
that's Jeff. I'm Joe.
I'm sorry. I keep doing.
It's hard with 2J.
It's okay. You called me Jim before.
I did.
I do it with my kids all the time.
Yeah.
Their names are Jake and Jordan, and I'm always confusing them.
Oh man, God,
it's no big deal. We're used to it.
I don't even know his name.
Jeff, I truly apologize, Jeff. Being that you have assembled this incredible amount of talent to come to St. Louis, talk to me about that. And I want to ask you a personal question. Who are you most excited to see for Evolution Fest?
Okay, well, I'll answer the first one.
Yes.
You won't answer the second one?
No, I will. I'll just get
Yeah, he's just going to get the first one.
So,
Joe, I'm coming for you next.
Okay. I got time to prepare.
Yeah, you got time.
you know, one thing to mention about Joe is formidable in terms of talent booking. You know, like he and I both worked together on the lineup and bounced a lot of ideas off of each other. But, you know, for something like this, it is good to kind of keep a smaller room when you're, you know, discussing talent. But we've got a lot of history, a lot of understanding of this market and what we'd like to bring into it. But I think we always wanted to go a popular music direction.
Yeah.
You know, we had demographic targets and we had, you know, we looked at a lot of things, but we really wanted to put out artists that people know in all major genres, you know. But every year is going to evolve, you know, for lack of a better term. We're going to learn a lot on the bourbon side, the barbecue side, the music side, what people respond to and what they don't. And we're going to tailor that for years to come. I think, you know, our first goal, and I think, you know, Joe doesn't mind me saying this, we thought that, you know, for one, Brandy Carlisle was really important to this.
Absolutely.
When she became available.
Yeah.
And that was the first artist we confirmed. You know, other goals for the festival, you know, August is a big month for hip hop. It's the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Our company, Contemporary, is producing a big event at the Art Museum that's coming up for the Hip Hop 50 exhibit that's there.
Seriously?
So
okay.
And that's,
all right.
And that opens the week before the festival.
Opens
right?
the week before the festival on August 19th. But, you know, I thought it was really important to include 2, 3, 4 hip hop acts on the bill, you know, especially for that. But we were going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of, you know, plugging in the holes and filling the gaps of, you know, who's our demographic, who do we want, you know, for rock, pop, R&B, hip hop, and just kind of creating a really throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing what looks good together. There's a lot of whiteboarding. There's a lot of planning that goes behind that.
Yeah, I will say, you know, Jeff and I think subscribe to the same philosophy when it comes to programming a festival. It's like it's not a quick process.
No.
It's a very slow, tedious process. And to something that you said a couple minutes ago, I mean, this has probably been in the discussion and planning stages for probably nearly 2 years now.
I figured.
So, yeah. I mean, it's like, that's how long we weren't talking to anybody else about it because we wanted to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's when the talk really first started. But so that in the talent curation is really becomes this labor of love along the way. And we pay attention to each slot. You know, like Jeff says, we actually have a whiteboard, and we have a list. We have lists of bands' names, and we put them up on the whiteboard, and we look at each slot as we're looking at our whiteboard to try to envision what's gonna, like, we got a hole here. What are we missing?
Yeah.
What does this lineup need? Like, who would be the perfect act for this hole? So, like, I'm just looking at some examples. You know, Sugar Hill Gang is probably a good one because you were just talking about 50th anniversary
exactly.
hip-hop. We knew we wanted another legendary hip hop act on the bill because it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop this year. So we were like batting around ideas, and we came to Sugar Hill Gang. We're like, that's brilliant.
That's amazing.
And ironically enough, it's one of the acts that, even though they're lower down on the bill, they're probably generating some of the most buzz of any of the acts on the show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And, you know, I remember one day Joe said, we need kind of that fun throwback, you know, slot that maybe some of the older people in the audience are going to say, like, wow, that's a bucket list artist. That's something I've never seen. And I came back 20 minutes later, and I was like, what about Ice Cube? And we were like, that's it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Boom.
made that happen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just brainstorming. There's a lot of, all right, we'll talk about this tomorrow. But then there's just some immediate things that we know we needed to have, and luckily we were able to get them. The lineup's going to look a lot different in 2024 and 2025, and that's what's exciting for me is to see what inventory is out there. Like, who could we possibly get?
Well, and the good news is that the word, you know, year one of a festival is about really sort of creating your brand and building a solid foundation.
Yeah,
for your brand.
absolutely.
And the same thing is true within the industry as well as with the public. And the industry has, fortunately for us, knock on wood, let's hope it continues, they've actually stood up and taken notice of what we're doing here in St. Louis. And the calls
Congratulations
are
to
already
you guys,
for
man.
next
Yeah.
year. Like, we're already
I'm
starting
booking next year already.
we're already
Oh, my
starting to work
God.
on next year's lineup.
Jeez.
But to answer your second question, I said I would answer. I'm really excited about the 1-2 punch of the Black Crows and the Black Keys on
I like it.
Saturday
Yeah.
night. I'm very enthusiastic about Nikki Lane. I saw her show last year, and that was one where I went to Joe and I said, we just got to get this done. Let's put this on the festival. I think Sugar Hill Gang's a good one. They have roots in St. Louis. I thought it was really appropriate. I want to get this out in 30 seconds that Rapper's Delight, their legendary song, started Sugar Hill Records. The first person to play it was in St. Louis, DJ called Gentleman Jim Gates, James Biko's father.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history with the 50th anniversary of hip hop just across the river. So I thought that was really cool that connection. Michigander, an indie rock band that's exploding these days.
To have our cheat sheet.
Yeah, I love it.
We forget.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I'm excited about all of them for a number of different reasons. Like, I'm kind of snobby in the way that I won't put something on that doesn't make a lot of sense or that I don't think is quality.
Definitely understand that.
You know, I really think that people can go to the festival, see 3 or 4 bands that make them want to buy a ticket, and they'll come away with 7 or 8 that they love. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I'm on the spot now too.
Yeah, I got to get you, Joe.
Well, I mean, I've said it when I was doing another interview. I mean, Sugar Hill Gang, I think, is like an automatic. That gets me really excited, as does Modern English, only because I used to book bands when I was in college, and one of the cover bands that I booked in college, I play guitar, not well, but they used to bring me up on stage every time I was at one of the parties that they were playing, and have me play Modern English song with them. So
Yeah.
they resonate with me for some reason. And aside from that, I mean, the big bands are obvious. I love all of these larger artists, but
Yes.
I got to tell you, I'm excited about these St. Louis bands that are on the bill. I mean, and I give
Joe, that's what I'm talking
I
about.
give the credit to this guy because
Oh, Jeff, that's my man's.
as we and honestly, we both to pat ourselves on the back a little bit. We both are artist managers too, and have managed St. Louis artists that have gone on to do greater things. So when you were talking about artists having to leave St. Louis to make things happen, sometimes, I mean, we're very knowledgeable about that, having with both of us having been artist managers. And there's something about watching a band that's from your town sort of start off and then develop,
Just
build a
grow.
following,
Yes,
and grow,
and-
and watch the energy build. And that's really exciting. I think some of these St. Louis acts that we have on the bill could really go and do something, at some point in the not too distant future.
And my approach to that was, let's not saturate the market with artists that play all the time, or
Yeah.
that you could see anywhere else. Like I wanted to kind of bring some level of curation even to the local artists. It's easy just to put 4 of them on,
And
ones
then
that
just,
are, they're the most popular. But I really wanted to kind of dig and find some stuff that I thought
Ironically,
was
all the bands that we used to, sorry to interrupt, all the bands we used to manage wanted to play on the festival and thought it would be an automatic because we're the ones putting it together. I told all mine, nope, sorry.
Right.
Maybe next year.
Tough.
So yeah, there's 4 bands with St. Louis connections: Smidley, Yard Eagle, Punk Lady Apple, and the Knuckles, Rockwell Knuckles, and his sister are great. So yeah, very excited for everybody to experience that.
You got, like I said, and like you were talking about, Joe, I got it right this time. Like you guys were talking about, I think it's one of those things, like, to not only put on one of the biggest things in your backyard, but to say, yes, I'm going to help grow other St. Louis bands and artists organically, and to watch them grow and to see them, and to plant a seed in them and to watch it grow, I think is probably the best thing that I've heard from both of you guys. And not to denounce the work, but 2 years is a long time. And a lot of people don't know what goes into putting something like this together. And I just wanted to briefly I want you guys to briefly touch on those 2 years of planning that it took to strategically and quietly put this thing together.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a laborious process, and there are frustrating moments, there are incredible moments, there's little victories along the way, there's little losses along the way, just with anything else in life. But we could come in and try to be bulls in the china shop and say, we're the big, music guy between the two of us and our partner, Steve. We're the big music guys in town, and we've done this for a combined 120 years between the three of us, and get out of our way. And
Yeah.
that's, all of us agreed immediately. Like, let's not take that approach. Let's be collaborative. Let's bring people under the tent slowly and explain to them what we're trying to create and have them buy into it. And that's kind of how it started, with having some very quiet conversations with some people, within the city of St. Louis, with the park and Forest Park Forever, and those types of folks, to be able to really make sure that we were going to get buy-in one by one from all the different important constituents in the marketplace. And I think that's a lot of what took so long to plan. We were talking about, I think at one point, do we try to pull this off in 2022? I mean, this is going back a while now, but I think we all just kind of looked at each other and at one point collectively agreed, we got to give this another year. We got to give this more time, because we need more time to plan, more time to think.
Yeah.
And I'm glad now that we waited.
Yeah, there's the framework of the city and county and park, and making sure it's possible. I think there's looking in the mirror and making sure that we can do this right. Believing in ourselves and saying, okay, this is going to make sense. Do we have the budget to do this? Do we have the staff to pull this off? And there's one chance, as he said, there's one chance to experience something for the first time, but that all goes out the window if the experience isn't great. So
very true.
We've built a great team with people that Joe's worked with in the past, people on our staff at Contemporary that we feel really confident in. So yeah, I mean, and then you just have to kind of say one morning, let's just go for it. And that's what we did. And luckily we got some momentum with talent, and the city and the park and the county have been great. And now
everybody's been so supportive.
Yeah.
And I will say, it's funny, because I was just remembering something when you were saying that. We announced the festival in mid-February.
Yeah.
And initially, in a perfect world, we wanted to get it announced before the end of the year last year, but we were still working on the talent, so we pushed it, because we're not going to announce till we're ready. And we, have spent all this time and energy, not just Jeff, Steve, and myself, but our entire team of people that are working on this festival are spending all this energy to make this incredible announcement in February. And we did it, and we had this press conference, and it went amazing. And
sensational.
The coverage was great, and the people were buzzing around town about it. And everyone's kind of like, oh, thank goodness. And then we're kind of looked at each other like, now the real work starts.
Absolutely.
Now we got to sell
yeah.
tickets, and we have to produce a festival that people are going to love and want to come back to in 2024 and beyond. So we still got a lot of work ahead of us. I mean, we're not coasting, we're not in cruise control. It's great hearing nice things, but we're still working really hard every day to
Absolutely.
make sure this experience is going to be incredible for people when they show up on the 26th and 27th of August.
Yeah,
I love it.
and I'll also say it's an addition to the market, not a subtraction. You know, I'm very cognizant about relationships. That's how I'm able to pull together a good lineup, and Joe's able to pull together this amazing festival team, you know, that deals with the footprint and the production and all of those things. But, you know, other talent buyers in St. Louis, there's a lot of other venues, there's other festivals. We're complementary to that. You know, we wanted to kind of carve out our own lane, something that's different from what Twang Fest is doing, or Music at the Intersection is doing in Grand Center, or the Open Highway Festival.
And by the way, all of those other festivals and all of the venues in town are all of our allies. I mean,
Love it.
we both go back so
Love
far
it.
in the market.
I love
We're
that.
working with everybody, and we want to help. Our motto is, when it comes to especially the other festivals that are in town, a rising tide raises all ships. So if our festival does well, that's going to help.
see why you married him.
Also elevate. She probably came up with that one too. they're gonna help
My wife
elevate.
would just think that was bullshit.
And it is, but I mean it. But it's really I think it's gonna help elevate the exposure for all the other festivals in town too. And we want to help them grow. Hopefully
Absolutely.
they want to help us grow. Like, we're all in this together. So I think we'll always continue to have those friendships and have those allies and want to work together with other folks, because that's better than working against.
Very true.
Life's too short for that.
Yeah,
Thank
and we
you so
trade
much,
information. You know, like one of my most valuable resources in booking is Pat Hagen and Bert McClemens. They do the pageant in Del Mar Hall and Blueberry Hill and off Broadway, and they're great friends of ours. And it's nice to have, you know, people, I guess, that in a way we're competing with, but people just to share information that makes us better at buying talent and booking and programming. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I want to offer my help to you guys if you guys need anything when it comes to, I seen that you guys were doing some free giveaways on the campus of Lindenwood.
Yes.
If you guys want to do some free giveaways, let me know. If you guys need my help to get the word out, if you guys need my help to do anything when it comes to evolution.
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that off air.
Yes.
I need you guys
We
to
need all the help we
quickly
can get.
to give us the details for Evolution Fest. How can we get tickets? How can we be there? And how can we support?
It's very simple. Go to evolutionfestival.com. It's the one-stop shop where you can look at the lineup. You can see all the different ticket offerings. We've got general admission. We've got 3 different levels of VIP. We now have single-day tickets that we're selling, as well as the weekend tickets. We've got 4 packs that we just announced and put on sale to create some extra value for people. And so you can read all about the different ticket types and the ticket pricing on the site. You can obviously see the full lineup and click through to all the artists to learn about them. So it's all right there at evolutionfestival.com.
Thank you guys so much. Please
You got to say one thing for me.
Let's do it.
Because this is honestly our slogan. So
Okay.
read that for me. The
Y'all
last
ready?
line at the bottom.
All right. This is our town. This is our time. This is our evolution.
That's right.
All right. So look, guys, they gave you all the information. I need you guys to let us know how we can follow you guys personally. Instagram, Facebook, social media, anything like that.
Yeah, love it. Thanks for having us.
Oh, what is my...
Oh, you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, hang on. My wife's handing it to me. Which is this? This is Insta?
Instagram handle.
Insta handle is evolutionfest.stl.
Okay. Make sure you tap into that. Make sure you go on the website right now. Look, you just got all the information.
Old guy on social media.
I
Come
did,
on, man.
I did, Joe. Make sure you tap in
I
with
can
these
barely log
guys.
onto my Facebook page.
Are you serious?
He's got a BlackBerry. Yeah.
I got a rotary phone I keep in my pocket.
Are you serious? We'll talk about that off our guys. Make sure you tap in, man, with Evolution Fest. What's the date one more time, Joe?
August 26, 27 in beautiful Forest Park.
Make sure you're there. Make sure you get your tickets. It's Dsmoovee, Voice of the Streets. We checking in, checking out just like that. Peace.